I swear to God, that's why some people drink. Go. Oh my God. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing the mid-year freakout tag. This tag was created by Ellie and Cami, and I will link their channels down below. Well, as always, my disclaimer for this video is that all opinions are my own. If you disagree with me and you have your own opinions, feel free to leave them down below. So the first question is, best book I've read so far in 2017. And the book is You by Caroline Kepnes. That book was just so totally gruesome. It's just so... It was disturbing to see that there could be someone so twisted in the world, and it's like, yeah, there is some like...
serial killers out there, and it's like, it's all really wrong, but just this one being in the mind of the actual killer, it's just so disturbing to see. And at the same time, just how... Spoiler alert!
And it's just like, what the hell is going on? And as I was reading the book, I was just like, this needs to be a movie. Like, I could just see it, and I could just see people reacting to it and getting severely just grossed out by everything that was going on. And lo and behold, as I went to go follow the author on Instagram, it's gonna be a movie. So I'm severely excited about that, but at the same time, because the book is just so gruesome and it has some really disturbing things going on, I feel like it won't be done justice. But I guess we shall see. Second question, best sequel I've read so far in 2017. Now, this year I actually haven't been reading a lot of sequels, which is weird because a lot of sequels of books I love have come out. But I don't know, I just haven't really been feeling like I've read like the best one yet. But if I had to pick one, which is, you know, I kind of have to because that's the purpose of the video, it would be King's Cage by Victoria Aveyard. Now, I really love the series, of course, and I really like the book, but I wouldn't say that it's the best one I've read so far. But we are talking about so far in 2017, so it is gonna have to be King's Cage. But I'm totally excited for upcoming sequels, so I will be totally updating on that. Third question, new release I haven't read but I want to. And that one's going to be Dragon Teeth by Michael Crichton. Or Crichton. It's one or the other, and I'm sorry about that. But I'm really excited about Dragon Teeth. It's totally new, but at the same time it's kind of within the same realm. I'm going to assume within Jurassic Park. Obviously not the same universe, but I'm really excited about that. I really like Jurassic Park, even though I went with the Spark Notes version, but I do have it, so it is on my wish list for this year. But I'm totally excited. He is a legendary author, and I feel like everybody knows his name, even though, you know, you haven't read it. But everybody at least knows the movie, and at one point or the other, somebody has looked it up and found out that, hey, it's a book. So Dragon Teeth is totally on my bucket list. Fourth question, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. And that was totally going to be Wonder Woman Warbringer by Leigh Bardugo. I have recently become super obsessed with Wonder Woman, and when I found out that, hey, Leigh Bardugo, one of my favorite authors, is going to be doing a Wonder Woman book, and, you know, DC icons, Batman, Superman, Catwoman, I'm just so into that, and I'm so excited, and I just cannot wait until the book is released. Or, fingers crossed, I can get myself a copy in San Diego Comic-Con. Fifth question, biggest disappointment. Drumroll please. It's going to be Carve the Mark by Veronica Roth. It's a shame to say that when Carve the Mark came out, I was so excited about it. I read it. I was so sad about it. It's just like, people were saying ever since the Advanced Readers copy came out that the book was problematic, but I was like, you know, sometimes things can get a little bit out of hand. Everybody has their own opinions. Maybe I'll really like it. But when I actually started reading the book, I was like, I've seen this a million times, but the book has been a success for so many people. But for me personally, it was just such a massive disappointment, and I was just so excited, and I was just so disappointed when I was finally able to read Carve the Mark. And then I read it, and it was just like, ugh, I was just so sad when I was finally able to read Carve the Mark, and I was just so massively disappointed by it. Because even if you look past the problems, it was just so... Everybody has done it at this point, and it was just something that was just not impressive. And I really loved her Divergent series, but Carve the Mark failed to impress me, and if I remember correctly, it is going to get a sequel, or maybe it's going to be a trilogy. I think it's going to be a duology, but not excited for it, and to be honest, I don't think I'm going to read the second book, particularly because I almost considered not finishing the first book. Question 6, biggest surprise. So my biggest surprise was actually 11/22/63 by Stephen King. I've never previously read any of his books, and this was totally my first one. And I knew I just had to read a book by Stephen King because he's just such a popular author. Even if you've never read him before, you've totally heard about him. And I heard what the plot was for 11/22/63, and it was just so interesting to me. I mean, we're getting a guy that's going back in time to try and stop the Kennedy assassination, but I really loved I wanted to really see how Stephen King was going to be able to manage that, especially because there was bound to be a whole butterfly effect thing, so I just really wanted to be able to read it. I was so excited to go ahead and start reading it, and I enjoyed it so much. It actually happens to be one of my favorite reads of the year. Question 7, new favorite author, and my new favorite author is actually Danika Stone. I had a chance to read Internet Famous a couple months back and I really loved it. And I've actually known about Danika Stone ever since she released her first book, All the Feels. And ever since she released the first book, I've been really interested in her books because I feel like I was just really going to be able to relate to what she was writing in her books. And I just really wanted to see like how accurate she was getting it. And so when I read actually Internet Famous first, I was just so in love with it. I thought it was such a fun and interesting book, and I was actually able to relate on some level just how people that spend so much time on the internet can really feel. I really enjoyed the book and I loved it, and I'm so glad that I got to read it, and it just really turned Danika Stone into one of my favorite authors, and I'm just so excited for any future books that she releases. Question 8, new favorite crush. And my new favorite crush is actually from an older book, and I'm talking about Ethan Waits from Beautiful Creatures by Garcia and Margaret Stohl. This book I've actually owned for a really long time. It's probably one of the older books that I own on my shelf, but I never actually got around to it until just very recently. And ever since I read it, Ethan Waite is just totally book boyfriend material. I really enjoyed the series and I really cannot wait until I continue to read the rest of the series. Question 9, new favorite character. Now, my new favorite character is actually not new at all. He has been around for quite some time. Now, I'm talking about R from Warm Bodies and The Burning World. What a lot of people don't know is that Warm Bodies actually got a sequel this year. And I was actually fortunate enough to be able to read the book at the end of last year, and I just really fell in love with R. The way that R is discovering the world is just so poetic and so enchanting, and a lot of other people have seen the movie, but the book is a lot different and a lot more beautiful. And when I read him back in The Burning World, it was just a lot more prominent. He became a much more deeper character, and he became conscious of all the flaws that he had even before he died, and seeing him discover those flaws just made the character a lot deeper and a lot more beautiful, and I just really enjoyed this book. I love this book, and I really cannot stop recommending this author to everyone I know, because the author himself is just so underrated. The way that he writes is beautiful, it's poetic, it's enchanting. You just cannot put the book down. Question 10. Book that made you cry. Now, I really haven't cried in any books this year, but if I was going to cry, it was going to be in frustration. And now the book that made me cry in frustration is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. This is the first year that I ever read any of her books, and I believe that this was the second one that I read, the first one being Ugly Love. And I feel like Colleen Hoover really writes emotionally charged books, and this one had the topic of domestic abuse. And I feel like the reason she really put this out there is because she wanted to kind of really point out like, hey, this is a real thing. Love, sometimes you can be really in love with a person and you don't realize that, hey, they're the wrong person for you. And I feel like that was a really important thing to put out there, particularly for such a popular author. And the character, Lily, just kept going back to her abusive boyfriend, and I feel like that just speaks volumes. And I feel like because of the topic also, a lot of people either hated or loved it, but you couldn't just not care about the book. And for me personally, I was just incredibly frustrated around the whole thing because it was just so hard to understand why she just kept going back to him. And I feel like that's the really important point that she was trying to make. That for us, it's really easy to say, why would she do that? But for some people, there's just no going around it and they'll just continue to go back. And I feel like that was the main idea of the book. And that's why it was frustrating, but I kind of loved it. Question 11, book that made you happy. And the book that made me happy this year was Wires and Nerves by Marissa Meyer. Now, it's no secret that I really enjoy Marissa Meyer, so having her release a new book from the series that I really love was just so exciting. The reason that made me so happy was for that, because I was just so excited to have the gang back, having a new adventure to go along with the characters, and actually being able to see the characters at this point. And I was just so excited, and when I actually got my hands on it, I was just all about that. Most beautiful book you've bought or received this year. So this one I actually received it from a trade on Twitter, and I am so excited about that. And I'm talking about Lord of Shadows by Cassandra Clare. This has actually been one of my favorite series so far, and because I'm so excited to read it, which I haven't had a chance to, I feel like it just makes it the most beautiful cover. Like when I had to answer this question, I just couldn't stop thinking about this book. I had to show it somehow. So due to my excitement, it kind of makes it the most beautiful cover I own right now. Question 13, what books do I need to read by the end of the year? Now, I don't have an exact answer, but I do know I really want to read a Nicholas Sparks book by the end of the year. So that's kind of a goal I have right now, to read any of his books by the end of the year, or any more Stephen King book. favorite book community member. Now, I'm not exactly sure if they meant author or like anybody that reads, but I'm gonna go ahead and answer both. Now, my favorite author is by far Isaac Marion, and I know I talk a lot about Marissa Meyer, but I'm gonna go ahead and say Isaac Marion because he just doesn't get the recognition he deserves, so I'm throwing his name out there and I'm gonna continue to do so. Now, my favorite book community member, as in like friend, I'm gonna go ahead and go with A Travel in Book, aka Pamela, or Hello Jenny Reviews, aka Jennifer. So both of these girls I've become extremely close to. One of them, Jennifer, I will link down her channel below. She's actually a booktuber and a blogger. And Pamela, she's actually really hoping to start a booktube soon, and I really hope that you guys will see her on my channel later on. So that is the end for this tag, and to wrap up this video, I am currently reading It by Stephen King, and it's not that bad. I mean, it's pretty dense, especially some of the things that are going on in the book, and I feel like because there's so much going on in the book, I will actually spend a whole video reviewing the book and discussing the book, but currently halfway through, it's not bad, and you know what, I feel like it's going to be pretty up there on favorite books this year. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If your opinions are different from mine, feel free to answer down below what your own thoughts are on these questions, and if you have any suggestions as to what I should do next, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next time.